Kita no Masanshi no
Is that the song that you guys sang yesterday?
No, it's a different one. This one's from Okinawa.
Yeah, the one yesterday, did it have English words in it?
A few, yeah.
Okay, because I thought I heard some English words.
Yeah, yeah. They were in there. Okay, I'm gonna start the workshop.
Okay.
It was every once in a while we just have to stop and say, what's the same tone? You're right. Yeah, I know. I will. Thank you.
What's the other one? I know you like those cupcakes. Oh, I was gonna have one of those too. I'm sorry? My wife is an ambassador every day of the year. When are you gonna start playing? Play the day. I saw you up
That makes your coffee. Yep, mom's got one.
I live in New York once
Can you hear me over there, Virginia? Sound is good? Okay. Let's give a round of applause to Javi and the photography team for working together. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying the photos they're passing around. And thank you so much for adding the Strum in the Desert label.
yes.
That is such a sweet thing. I really appreciate that. So, I don't think you knew that hot sauna was included. All the toxins are being released. You're in the hottest point of the day. So from here it gets cooler and then really cold. So you made it. And I went to Conrad and I'm like, oh, you know that it's the hottest part, but you all are such a great audience and team that it's so wonderful. I've asked all of you, like, are you okay? And everyone's saying, I'm having fun. So I'm like, okay. As long as you're having fun, then I feel good as a hostess. So I'm bringing to the stage Conrad, who has decades of experience teaching and just has such a knack for choosing beautiful songs. And it is a privilege to have him here at Strum in the Desert and to get to go and to teach. And remember, everything is live streamed, including the open mic. So those of you who performed, you'll be able to watch yourselves on the channel and share with friends and family. How do we I mean, you could bribe me. Kidding.
I want some ad revenue.
Alrighty, put your hands together for Conrad.
All right. This is nap time, right? It's starting to get hot. So, a little history. So people are asking, oh, you hear over there, there's a German song. So a little history on this song. It was written in 1932. The original language was Yiddish. It was written for a Yiddish play. 5 years later, English lyrics were written, but they kept, they kind of, I don't know why they picked German as far as like the language that would go into, and it became a hit in the 30s and then 40s. The most famous version that you may have heard is from the Anders sisters. So before I play the tune, who is afraid of jazz? Of playing jazz, right? All the hands go up. Who thinks that jazz is a ton of crazy chords and it's impossible to memorize? I'm here to dispel that myth for you today, right? So this song is only technically 3 chords with one kind of like optional chord, passing chord. So it's going to tie into what Nolan taught. It's going to tie into what Mitch taught today, so that you can hear this.
For me, if it's a shame, please
Hold up so
let
you can see
me
the chorus.
explain. For me, if it's a shame, means your rain. For me, if it's a shame,
Thing is the one.
again I'll explain.
Mitch said, what happened?
It means
Tension.
you're the fairest in the land.
Now for a different tension, it goes to
Say Bella, Bella,
back
is
to
lavender porridge language only helps
add
me
tension.
tell you how grand you are.
Back to
I've
the first.
got to explain. For me, if it's a shame, so kiss me and say you understand.
That's the whole tune, right? So if you know your 1 and your 5 chord for this, you have 75% of the song done, right? So I picked a key. The key on this is all over the place because it's been covered so many times, both by males and females, or lower and higher register voices. So I don't even know what the standard key is on this. This happens to be a really common key, so that's what we're going to pick. So what Mitch was saying earlier is knowing what the original key is. So when you're playing instrumental, a lot of times you're expected to know what the original key is, but then in this case, we are transposing to D minor. So our 1 chord will be a minor chord, D minor, right? Your A chord is going to be your 5 chord, or the A7. Tim had asked this question earlier of Mitch, and he says, how do I know if I'm just playing the A or the A7? What I told him in this case, the 5, Danny Joy had a great way to explain this with the 5 chord. She explained like the 1 is the king, and the 5 was the bodyguard. So who does the bodyguard always try and protect and always point back to? The king, right? So the 5 chord always, usually, I'll say there's always exceptions, but 98% of the time it's going to push and point towards that 1 chord. The 7 is done so it pushes harder, that 1. That's the only thing a 7 does, is it adds tension to point even more towards that 1 chord. So you have that option of playing either an A or an A7. Of course, on the uke, A7 is really simple with one finger, 1 string. All right, so let's try playing the first 8 bars. So if you look on the left side, the corner will say first A. So another thing about jazz tunes, a lot of times they're only about 45 seconds long and 32 bars, right? So this is broken into 3 groups of 8, and 3 of them are extremely similar. So again, the memorization on this is really quick. So how about we try this? So your D minor is your first chord, A7 is your second chord. I assumed everyone would have this, right? So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. By near. I can't hear anyone playing. One more time from the top. There is a pickup note, so that's been talked about today when Bernadette said, the downbeat hits later. So a pickup, think of this as a running start. Sometimes you need a little bit of slide into it. Sometimes you have 3 pickup notes, which is like a running start so that you land. So that's one way you can think of the pickups. So in this case, we have a 1-note pickup. So we would count it as 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. By dear Mr. Shane, please let me explain. My dear Mr. Shane means that you're grand. And 2 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, first A again. A 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. My dear Mr. landing, Mitch talked about cadences. The 1-4-1 and the soft landing. There is a cadence there of the D minor, G minor, right? So it's kind of ending that phrase. So the only thing different between the first A and the second A is that ending. That last bar. One goes to the D minor in A7. The second time it does that D minor, G minor for a little landing. Yeah? So shall we go first two A's again? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. By mere shame, let me explain. By mere shame means that you're grand. By mere shame, again I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. Good. Those cadences, that last bar is actually optional. You can sit there on that D minor the whole time. If you've forgotten, just you can hit the D minor, especially if you're going solo and the whole band is not doing something else. If you forget and you're playing solo, just play that D minor. No one's going to care that you put the cadence in or not. It's just really kind of commonplace and cliche. So let's move on to the bridge, the third eight. This is where, yes?
Real quick, on that D, M, G minor, or whatever, and then D, M, like, what's the timing of that?
Oh, that's great. So the reason I picked sheet music is when you guys do the typical lyric sheet with the chords above it, that is best if you already know the song. If you've never heard the song again, you're kind of lost in like, how long do these last? The opposite will be what we call a box chart. For us jazz players, it's just a bunch of chords in boxes. And if there are two chords in a box and they're both kind of like centered, it's like, okay, those are 2 beats each. If we see one chord taking up half the box and then 2 smaller ones, to us that means, okay, 2 beats for the first one, 1 beat, 1 beat. So sheet music, what that does is, one, it gives you the lyrics, like what you usually play off. It gives you the chords, and it gives you the timing, and it gives you the melody. So if you're afraid of sheet music, know that you have all 4 of those pieces that are missing from the other methods. There's nothing wrong with the other methods, it's just you have less to work with. So in this case, so Vicky asked the question, what's the timing on there? There's 2 bars in there, or there's 2 chords in there. So in this case, it'll be 2 beats of D minor, 2 beats of G minor, and then 4 beats of D minor. Right, so each of those boxes is 4 beats. Sorry, I should have explained that a little bit. Yes?
I have a question on the second line at the end when it's D minor and 7. Are those rest and
That is the vocal is resting, but the chords are still going. Yeah, so great question. Yeah, she can read music, and she asked, are you resting there? The vocal is resting, but the chords can keep going. All right, so shall we try the bridge? Let's take a look. What are our chords in there? The first 2 whole bars are what? G minor, everyone can do that. Second 2 bars are D minor. Go back to that G minor. This next transition is optional. You can hit just that A7 for that tension. We add more tension if you want to do that B flat 7. If you were here last year and you saw Nolan teach sway, there was a lot of that. Right, you can hear that push and that resolve in there. So let's try and hit, let's do this. Let's do this as an exercise. You're going to go 4 beats. Eyes up, everybody. 4 beats of A7, 4 beats of B flat 7, and then 4 beats of A7, just till we get this in under our fingers. It's the numbers are right there for you. Right, so I made it so that you guys don't have to look from page to page. You have the numbers right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, A7, 2, 3, 4, B flat 7, 2, 3, 4, A7, back to B flat 7. We're just going to repeat this until it gets under our fingers. Just maybe 30 seconds of this. Let's go 3 more times. had an online student, and I would always give him an exercise. And I said, you're going to do this for about 30 seconds. He lasted about 7 to 8 seconds every time before he went, I can't, I just got to practice this, I got to practice this. And well, that's why we're giving it to you right now. So what I eventually started doing is I started the stopwatch and I held it up to the camera. And then whenever, the first time he quit and went, and like, look up, 11 seconds in. 11 seconds! By the time he got to 40 seconds, I'm like, just push through it, we're gonna do it for just a minute. By the time it hits 40 seconds, it started to get easier and easier. Then the second round we did it. So don't be so hard on yourselves, right? When it's new chords, they have the muscle memory. It takes 500 reps just to start to build a mental blueprint. It takes like, what, 5,000 or 10,000 reps to be muscle memory. So after he finished that minute, I'm like, good, you only have another 9,900 reps to go, right before it's muscle memory. So and the same thing goes for songs. The more and more that you play them, the more and more they sink into your head. So again, don't be so hard on yourself. We're all getting older. Memory is not working so well. We all know that the best time to learn languages and things is as a child because your mind is still flexible. So give yourself that grace and yeah, take it easy on yourselves. All right, so let's try the bridge, shall we? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, G minor. Bella, even say, wunderbar, each language only helps me tell you. Here it goes. Bridge one more time. 1, 2, 1. I could say Bella, Bella, even say wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. Another thing you can do was what I just did if the timing and keeping that swing strum is tough. Rather than constantly pumping that swing strum, just add some tension. I think Bernadette had said strumming patterns are just suggestions. You're painting a picture. So I might want to paint with a nice big long stroke. Right? If you're doing this solo, put that slow down, put that ritorando in there to build that drama and that tension. You are painting this picture as you go. Right, so let's look at that last A section. Right, how simple is that? Super fun. Right, there you go. So last A, please. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I've tried to explain. I'm in Mr. Shane. So kiss me and say you'll understand. I teach a whole class on endings, just on endings, tag endings, last 4, last 8. So all cliches, you've heard them all before. Great, so shall we try the whole tune? So, ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I'm here, Mr. Shane. Please let me explain. I'm here, Mr. Shane. Means that you're grand. I could say Bella, Bella, even say wunderbar. Each language only helps me tell you how grand you are. I've tried to explain my mere Mr. Shane. So kiss me and say you'll understand. Tag that. So kiss me and say you'll understand. One more time from that A7. So Congratulations, you learned a jazz song. There is a beginning or a verse to this that I did not put in just because I didn't. We have 45 minutes. I gotta kind of race through. But it's the part that you. Of all the girls I've known, and I've known some, when I first met you, I was lonesome. Then you came inside, and my heart grew light. This whole world seemed new to me. You're really swell, I have to admit you deserve expressions that really fit you. And I know I rack my brain trying to explain all the things that you do to me. Exact same chords, right? The verses back then in Tin Pan Alley were the chance for the songwriters to show off. So what they did is they wrote with key changes and random keys that followed other progressions. The melody was completely different from the chorus. So learning the verses to these tunes sometimes fell off because sometimes it was a big, grandiose, super slow rubato thing, and then the chorus was uppy. And if they were playing a dance hall, they're like, we don't need the big, grandiose intro. We'll just stick with just the chorus. Melinda played All of Me. Everyone knows most of the chorus. There's a beautiful verse that goes, you took my kisses and all of my love. You showed me how to care. Am I to be the victim of a one-sided love affair? All you took, I gladly gave. There is nothing more for me to save. All of me, why not take all of me? Right? And it just adds that color and that texture. But a lot of times that verse is kind of like disappeared. I don't think I've heard any bands kind of playing that. So just know that sometimes the verse has fallen off from what they call the chorus. Right? Questions? Ah, great question. So what Nolan was teaching with that loud for the second, remember in swing was dance music. So you didn't want something super syncopated. So if you hear me strum, what Nolan was saying, keep those notes short. Right, and then you can add those flourishes, and we can talk about that later. Great question. But yeah, it always sounds good to hit that. Yeah. You know why that second note is louder? That's what the snare drum's doing. Boom, bang, boom, bang, bang. When I'm slapping the bass, I'm going pop, slap, slap. Why? Because again, it's mimicking the snare drum, which is mimicking the guitar, and now you have a rhythm section for the horns to play over. Right, so everything's mimicking that. That's why in a lot of rock and roll, you want to clap on the 2 and the 4. There's a joke shirt that says in hell they clap on 1 and 3. Right? But yeah, if it's gospel, if it's rock, you want that 2 and that 4. It's not wrong, it's just that's the feel of that music. All right, so on to now the companion lesson. All right, and it's going to address that whole thing of those complex chords that you see. But first, what if I told you, did you see Mitch's sheet of that big grid that you guys were working on with those? What if I told you there's a simplified way of writing that, where it doesn't take up a whole page, it takes up less. So if someone can turn to that page,
And you put it on the phone, but let me I'm in to shake.
that's his ringtone, right? For my wife. All right, so what's the first column, the first chord in there? C. What's the next cell down?
G.
What's the next one down?
D.
What's the next one?
A.
What's the next one?
E.
What's the next one?
B.
Jump to the F. What's the next one down from F?
B flat. B flat.
What's the next one down?
E flat.
What's the next one down?
A flat.
What's the next one down?
E flat.
And G flat. Sorry, that's a really messy one. Circle of fifths. Right? So it's already there. So if something is so important, Mitch talked about the importance of that 1, 4, and 5 chord. 1, 4, and 5 is important in country. It's important in bluegrass. It's important in rock and roll. Because sonically, that's what really connects most to that 1 chord. So if something is precious to you and important to you, where do you hold it? Close to you. What's another term for an assistant? Someone who is his right-hand man. So if C is our boss, and if something is important, it's his right-hand man, where's he going to be? It's right next to there. So who's the other important person? The 4 chord? So your most important chords are right next to you on the circle of fifths. So you don't need to memorize the entire circle of fifths, you need to just know where your starting point is. So if we wanted to transpose this, shall we try in the key of D? So D is going to be our boss. Our right-hand man, or clockwise, is going to be
A.
And our 4 chord is going to be
G.
That's this song right here. So now you can use this to transpose. If it's just a 1, 4, and a 5 chord, this can give you an instant map to transpose. You can absolutely use Mitch's grid for a full layout so you can see exactly where they lie, but this will give you a map of the roots a lot faster. Right? So that's part of the magic of circle of fifths. If someone had taught me that 30 years ago, my life would be so much easier. Right? Remember when you started to learn to count as kids, what did you do? With your fingers? I used to have to transpose like that. Okay, it's C, it's going to E, so I've got to add 2, so C, D, E, G, A, B, and then you're counting like this. Then you learned your multiplication tables, you internalize them, and then eventually it happens. Right? So theory, music theory is something that a lot of people get scared of. Know that there are different levels. There is kids' multiplication, and then there's quantum physics. Right? Leave the quantum physics for Jacob Collier and all those super stud musicians. Right? Use what's useful. Every day you can use multiplication, subtraction, division, just the basics. All you need is that piece of theory and it will serve you so well. Right? Okay, so why the hell did he put pizza in the title? So this is going to, again, also tie into what Nolan taught. Someone tell me the ingredients to the simplest pizza that you can make. Cheese, dough, sauce, done. So a chord, a basic chord is made up of a triad or 3 notes. The root, the third, and the fifth are their names. We can say the root is going to be the dough, the third is going to be the sauce, and then the fifth is going to be cheese. It's cheese. Remember that word. So anything on top of this is a pizza topping that can be added or removed. Remember that you only have 4 strings on an ukulele. So you're not going to be playing any chord that has more than 4 notes. A piano has 88 keys. How often do you play all 88 keys at once on a piano? How often do you even play 10? Do you always see piano players doing this every time they play? Sometimes it's single, sometimes it's 2, 3. So even on a piano, they're picking certain notes that go together. So you don't get locked into the fact. So when I play, a lot of times when I'm doing little chord solos, I'm only playing 2 or 3 strings at a time. I'm not having to hit all 4 all the time. Why? Because of efficiency. Maybe I have a cramp in my hand, maybe I can't remember the tune, maybe it's like, oh, I'm used to playing this another key and it's confusing me. Maybe then shrinking it down to the 3 notes. Daniel Ho has an instrument where he has the 3-string ukulele, and it pulls out the G string, and he's really marketing how you have all your chords with just 3-string shapes, right? So that's called just a cold. All right, so everything, so that whole grid that I put on there is just to show you something. So if we go down that left side where it says C major and then C6 and C add 9, all those. I know this probably scared you. I know Chris took a look at it and went, oh God, what is that? So if it scares you right now, look at the very left-hand side of the second column and notice how the first 3 notes or the first 3 ingredients in that column are always root, third, and fifth. On all of those different chords, what stays the same? The dough, the sauce, and the cheese. So if you see something like a C13, say, like I have no idea how to hit a C13, I didn't know there was a 13. What can you simplify that? Take that 13 off. I don't like green peppers. Throw it aside, right? Pepperoni, not my favorite. We'll call that the flat 7. It's a very common topping. I just don't want it today. I toss that aside. What are you left with on a C13 if you take off the 13 in that flat 7? Root 3rd 5th, a major C. Right, so anytime you see these, so on the right side, those two columns are all the minor chords. So I took a C minor, made a C minor 6, C minor add 9, C minor major 7, all of these long extended chords. What do you see is the same in that second column? First 3. So all of those chords can be simplified down to a minor chord. This was life-changing when I learned this in a workshop about 10, 15 years ago, where the guy said, everything boils down to a major or a minor, or a diminished or augmented. We'll leave that for another time. But he goes, you can simplify all that down. He goes, why are you trying? You don't have to always struggle to outline a D minor 7 flat 5. Play a D minor. Most of you know a D minor 7, so you can play that, but keep shrinking that down and you have your D minor. What can I play instead of a D minor? A single note, a D. Right? When I'm playing bass, instead of playing a whole chord, I'm playing one note at a time. And a lot of times what I'm doing is playing each of those, the root, the 3rd, and the 5th, in different orders to create a picture. So that's the difference between playing bass and playing a string instrument. How are you playing the chords? All at once? Or as the beginning of Mr. Sandman, a C major 7, but you went ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, playing one note of the chord at a time. So that's how all of our lessons are kind of tying in together. Does that make sense? Right? So at the bottom, I put these chords mess with the cheese. So as I said, there are always exceptions. So an augmented chord adds, let's say, extra cheese. So that's why there's a sharp 5 in there. So, and then the C7 and that. But just so you can see that those are there. And then the sus chords are at the very, very bottom. So what the sus chords do is they leave out the sauce. So it makes a different sound. Nolan, can you grab a uke? We can play Stump the Nolan. All right. Can you play any of these chords by sight? All right, someone call out one of the chords in that grid.
C7 sharp 5.
So it's just C7. The 5 is a G, so you want to make it sharp, G sharp. Or C augmented 7.
So play C7 first. Now add that sharp 5. He's still playing a C7, but he's adding a pizza topping on top of that to add that tension.
Can I say that from India?
Right?
No, he's right though. When you associate it with a song, it locks in.
It locks in. Most of you have heard, yeah, I try to always attach things
Yeah.
to there.
I've got some chords that only go with one song, but I know that chord is on that song.
Right. Okay, let me check my time. Are we ending at 3? We might not have time to do the advanced stuff. Okay, so we'll do the intermediate. You can talk to me on the breaks for you. Okay, so we're going to use a different pizza for the D minor. We're going to do it a D minor 6. There are a couple of ways to play this, but I picked this one because it interferes least with the melody. So this is going to be, your ring finger is going to bar at 5 on your C, E, and A strings, and then whatever finger you would like is going to hit that 4th fret on the G string. So you'll get this kind of a sound. It's not going to sound too pretty. Now, if this is, I'm sorry.
Where are we at?
We are on intermediate page, the top, 5. So on the page, it'll say 4555 on there. Give that 20 seconds to go under your fingers, make it loud, noodle now. All right, and let's continue since we're down to 10 minutes left. So again, if this is going to be too confusing for you, what can you do? Pull that damn 6 pizza topping off and play a D minor. Right? So let's try the first 8, sort of the first A section. So a 1, and then let's all leave off that B flat 7 and let's just focus on that D minor 6. All right? So 1, 2, the first A, 2, 3. By me, Mr. Shane, please let me explain. Regular A7 that you need. Mr. Shane means that you're grand. Again, by me, Mr. Shane. Again, I'll explain. It means you're the fairest in the land. And time, right? So there you have, it sounds different, but remember you also, in the case of a band situation, you have other instruments. So whatever, say you left the sauce off of your chord, guess who's going to take up the sauce? Either the vocalist or the horns or the bass, right? So there's always another instrument that's going to pick that up, right? As a ukulele, your biggest constraint is that you only have 4 strings. You only have 4 voices on your note. With a guitar, you have 6. With a piano, you have 8, and so on and so on, right? There's a little thing, if you go down to the second A, you'll see that A7 sharp 5 in there. So let's do 4 strums of A7, 4 strums of that A7 sharp 5. You should hear that tension of that spicy mushroom. All right, so you're gonna do, let's just do that bar. So it'll sound like this, folks, ears up. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. So A7, A7 with the sharp 5, and then back to the A7. All we're doing is adding 1 finger, 1 pizza topping on there, right? So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. A7, A7, sharp it. Good. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. A7, and sharp it. One more time. Good. Whoever resolved that. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And A7, A7, sharp, A7, D minor. Right, so just add some color on there. I want pepperoni on this one slice, but not the entire song. Right, so you're just throwing it in on there. Right? So, yes?
On that A7 sharp,
Mm-hmm.
it has a little 5 out there. What's that 5 mean?
That 5 means you're sharping the 5. So the sharp, the A7 sharp, people will go, sharp what? So the 5 is there to tell the viewer that you are sharpening the 5 note. You are adding extra cheese on it, or you're changing the cheese.
That's just adding the ring finger.
Yes, technically that's all it is doing, but they just need a way to write it down on paper.
Okay, that's not just fresh. Okay.
Yeah. So what you're gonna go home with is that 3rd page, and it's a way to spice up the bridge. This is a very common cliche. Ooh, sounds pretty, right? So if I told you the chords, you'd like turn around and walk out. G minor, major 7, G minor 7, G minor 6. Right? What the hell is that? But what if I told you the middle note of that G minor was just dropping by 1 every time? That's all that's happening, is just that middle note is just dropping by 1. So if you read those numbers there, 0, 2, 3, 1, 0, 2, 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 1, 0201. So just see how that's going 3210 every time. Right? Who's heard the song Blue Skies? Blue skies shining on me. So what Bymir Vistashane does in the bridge, Blue Skies is built around that same lick. Sorry, it's usually in D minor. Blue skies shining on me. There's that D minor 6 that we just said. So that's a cliche that you can add on top of the bridge there. And then the last part is just how to do a walk down. There, but that will be your homework. You can always contact me, right? I think Bernadette is doing lessons. I'm doing a special on lessons, online lessons. I'm gonna discount the price for those of you here. So you get like discounts on your first 3 lessons. I think a 20% discount on your first 3 lessons. I try to be nice and affordable. I'm available at all times. I also did put my USB drives out there. I have 3 public shows this month, which is rare. I was doing mainly private shows all last year. But next Saturday, I'll be at the exhibition room in Long Beach. It's a duo. And then on Valentine's night, I'm playing with a full 6-piece band in Atwater Village at a swing dance. And then I think Yoshi is going to come sing. Oh, Yoshi's taking a nap. And then on February 21st, I'm playing the Montebello Night Market with my 5-piece band. So if you guys are in the LA area, I have 3 shows. You can come ask me about them. Bernadette is here to kick me off the stage. Any questions, come see me on the break. You have me for another 36 hours.
You survived the hottest part of the day. From here, yes, round of applause for that. From here, the temperature will go down, and once it starts going down, it goes quickly. I have 2 pieces of news, and both are good. Well, 3. It's time for break. That's 1. 2. The taco cart is here setting up. And 3. The special presentation that you have today, I have chills, is from someone that I admired so much musically, and it's a shock to even think that he's here, but Daniel Ho has just arrived. So I have a thing about not lying. And someone picked up on Daniel Ho maybe coming, and she said, "Is Daniel Ho coming to teach us Daniel Ho Mango?" And I was like, oh, I didn't want to say yes or no, so I said, "Why do you ask?" And so I just threw it back at you, but yes, you were right. He's setting up merch, so yes, go on your break. See you in 15.
It's come to my attention that some of you might not have the
Thank you.
Yeah.